You're in charge. I'm just gonna follow. No. Get it together, honey.
I'll be right
You the prize.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know this beat, it's your girl KylerB coming out with a new video. So today we're going to be talking about Love Island Season 10, Episode 35. We do not count the unseen bits. In this episode, basically, it was actually a pretty interesting episode. It wasn't bad. In this episode, we have new Bombshells, Ella B and Josh. You know, they're getting to know these people, whatever. We basically see Ella, OG Ella, basically step to Ella B, basically say, don't have my name in your mouth, keep my name out of your mouth, like, we're not gonna do this battle stuff, like, nah, I'm not gonna fight over a man, da 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 da. She just said, like, if you're gonna chat to Ty, don't put my name in your mouth, da 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 da. Basically checked her. Anyway, Ella B, she's getting to know Mitchell as well, so she's talking to Mitchell, she's talking to Sammy, you know, it is what it is. Josh is talking to Amber, and, you know, he's talking to Jess, you know, it is what it is. Next thing you know, I think Abby, she was so distraught and whatnot. She talks to Mitchell, you know, Mitchell's just like, what we have is good, da 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 da, you know, but if, you know, Ella B wants to still get to know me, who am I to not give her a chance? You know, Abby's over here talking about, like, oh, you know, the Scott situation is different, like, da-da-da-da, like, oh, I didn't even care about Scott, like, da-da-da-da, you know, and Mitchell's like, you were flirting with him, like, were you not giving him time of day? Like, if I had to sit and watch you talk to this man for an hour or two while we were in a couple, why can't you let me get to know a bombshell who's trying to get to know me? You know what I'm saying? So she's feeling so distraught. She's feeling like, oh, it's not going her way, da-da-da-da. She's just like, oh, she was just messing around with Scott. She doesn't really like him like that. I don't really think Scott liked her like that. So she goes talk to Scott, basically deads it off of him. And Scott's just like, you know, that's fine, that's cool. Like, you're way in too deep with, like, you have really deep feelings for Mitchell. Like, I understand. Like, he didn't really care. Like, he was just okay with it. He didn't really care because I don't think he just liked to chat. He didn't really like her like that. He just liked to have a good chat with her, entertain it. That's it. So next thing you know, there was a recoupling. Not really a recoupling, but Ella B and Josh basically had to pick, you know, people to couple up with. So everybody's obviously in their couples. So Ella B went first. And she picks Mitchell, leaving Abby single. And then Josh went next, and he picked Jess. So after the recoupling, you know, Sammy was so distraught. I think all the boys basically went over to the daybeds and gathered around Sammy or whatever, because Sammy was so distraught. When Josh wanted to talk to him, he was like, you know, give me a moment. Like, he didn't even want to speak to you know, Josh. You know, Sam didn't want to speak to Josh. He was basically like, you know, in his feelings that Jess got picked. Because the thing about it, Jess was quote unquote closed off of Sammy. They're closed off. So at the end of the day, you know, it kind of is kind of bad that, you know, a closed off person is getting picked. So with that being said, you know, he was upset. And Jess was basically like, what you're doing is rude. You know, you should have at least just, you know, be cordial about it, not like, you know, dismiss him and blah, 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 blah.
I literally have no words. Oh my God, he's not, bruv, that's ridiculous. I'm not, well, I'll talk to you in a minute. I'm not letting him sit on his own.
I'll grab you now.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I'll come have a chat.
Let's go fire pit. Come on, I'm not gonna lie, but that's a bit disrespectful.
Just let me vent, please. Just let me vent.
Like, that's...
So she talks to, you know, Josh and basically, you know, let him know it's fine, like, that she picked me or whatever, da 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 da. It was kind of funny because, you know, all the boys were sitting around, you know, Sammy, and Tyreek was there, and Tyreek was just basically like, give me a moment with Sammy.
Let me chat to Sam on his own quickly. One sec.
So basically all the boys skedaddled. They like up and left because Tyreek was like, let me get a moment with Sammy. And he chat to Sammy. Obviously the whole Abby's upset because, you know, about the, you know, Ella B picking him and whatnot. And the thing about it is that a lot of the girls are basically trying to let Abby know you got no legs to stand on. And then the way that she's moving is like very much giving an ick. Like the fact that she's giving Mitchell an ick is kind of funny because Mitchell is the one to give other people icks or like basically come on too strong to other people. So the fact that she's giving Mitchell an ick and making Mitchell like take a step back from her is quite hilarious because you making Mitchell look sane. Like, you know, you want to have your fun, you want to have your cake and eat it too, and now look at you. Look at you. The one thing you can say about Mitchell is when he was with Molly, he wasn't entertaining anybody else. He wasn't trying to, like, make Molly jealous in any type of capacity. Like, he was just, you know, tunnel vision on Molly. And I think that's what, you know, made him lose her. But, you know, Abby over here wanted to have her cake with Scott and, you know, still being a couple of Mitchell and, like, have her fun. And think everything was sweet. And then as soon as Ella B comes in here, she's trying to, like, mark her territory and basically give Mitchell ultimatums. And like, you don't have no legs to give Mitchell ultimatums when you were just doing that with Scott. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have no ground to stand on right now. So that obviously, you know, the girls are basically like just telling Abby like, you know, you need to chill. So they all go to sleep. You know, Sammy and Abby are single. They get up the next day, and then, you know, basically throughout the night, Mitchell basically cuddled with Ella B. So with that being said, he cuddled with Ella B. So then the next morning when Abby came to wake up, she basically was trying to like give Mitchell a hug and whatnot and then try to kiss him. And Mitchell basically was like, you're not going to kiss me. Like he just took a step back from the kiss. So basically, that's so funny because the fact that he didn't even want to kiss you, telltale sign. But anyway, when they were doing the debrief, he was basically telling the guys that, you know, Abby's basically giving him the ick. Like, the way that she was carrying on yesterday was just not great at all. So then Lockham, he basically told Whitney, he basically relayed the information to Whitney. He basically said that Mitchell basically said that Abby's giving him the ick. Abby, you know, still wants to talk to, like, she's feeling mugged off by Mitchell, She actually learned from Ella B that, you know, he actually willingly did cuddle her because he told Abby that it was just basically in the middle of the night. He didn't really think about it, but Ella B basically told her, like, Mitchell actually asked me if I was awake. And then he basically put his arm around her before they cuddled. So with that information, you know, Abby's like, oh, okay, he didn't tell me that. Also, it's kind of funny because OG Ella was basically asking questions in the dressing room. And she was just like, I don't understand you, Jess, because if you're closed off with Sammy, you shouldn't be entertaining Josh. You know what I'm saying? And then Jess is like, I didn't do nothing wrong. And then OG Ella was asking Ella B, like, I thought your type, like, is Mitchell somebody would you outside, you, like, go with on the outside? And she was like, yeah. But she's like, I thought your type was Tyreek and Uzi. And she was just like, well, do you, like, Ella B was like, oh, do you know me? Because nobody knows me. Like, I know myself. So I'm just like, but, I mean, she was asking real questions. Like, you went from Tyreek and Uzi to Mitchell. Like, okay. But anyway, you know, she basically said, like, well, nobody knows me. Like, no. Also, what was funny is that, you know, Jess basically says that she really doesn't care for Josh. You know what I'm saying? So they were like, well, if you don't really care for Josh, don't waste his time. So she's going to go back to Sammy. So at the end of the day, Jess is just basically going to go back to Sammy. Because she basically says she doesn't really care for Josh, you know. She's like, she's wondering why did he even pick her, because they're closed off. But he did say on their first date that the door is maybe a little bit ajar, and she didn't deny the door being a little bit ajar. So the fact that, you know, she's now saying that we're closed off, like, why did he even pick me? Because you gave him a little bit of hope. And maybe with that little bit of hope, he decided that maybe he's going to graft you and, you know, get with you. But if you don't want to be with him at all and don't want to chat to him, then just let it off, because you only got 2 weeks in here. So he got to make something shake. So, yeah. Anyway, with that being said, the boys, no, it's really like, they're really messy. Tyreek, no, he really told Ella B, if you're bad, you will break up the convo between Mitchell and Abby.
You won't go put him right now.
What, me?
If you're bad, you just ruin.
Is that your advice?
If you're bad, you go ruin that conversation.
I feel bad.
Maybe I don't say wrap this up. That's quite rude, isn't it?
Why have you ever cared about being rude?
No, true.
Is he alright?
Is that alright with you?
Can we finish our convo and then, like, after? Is that okay?
It's just because you were chatting for time. That was all.
Yeah.
That was the worst advice you could give me.
I literally haven't done that once as well.
So he basically got Ella B to walk over while Abby and Mitchell were having a conversation. And, oh, like, can I pull Mitchell in? She was like, Abby was like, you know, we're in the middle of a conversation. Like, so Mitchell had to basically say, like, give us 2 minutes. And then she had to walk off. But I was just like, you know, the way that Tyreek runs this villa is kind of funny. Like, he basically tells somebody, oh, do this, do that. The only person who really stands his ground is Scott. But even then, today, you know, he told everybody to, like, get up so I can talk to Sammy. And, you know, they all got up. So Whitney was trying to clock sense into Abby. So Abby was, like, talking to the girls. And Whitney was like, you know what? How do I say this? You know, you're giving Mitchell the ick. You know, the way you're going about things and whatnot is giving him the ick and stuff like that. So she was like, oh, well, if that's how he feels, I'm going to go back to talk to Scott. So everybody was like, nah, Scott, you know, Whitney was like, Scott's a principled man. Like, he's not, like, after you dubbed him off and ended it with him, he's not going to take you back. Like, the only person he put his pride aside for to try to get back with was Catherine, because he actually really likes her. That was the only person he did that. He doesn't even like Abby like that, or a little bit, to be honest, to say, oh, after you mugged me off, basically said, we're done, and then after you realize Mitchell doesn't want you anymore, you're going to come back to him? Like, nah. They were like, Scott's a principled man. Even Katie was like, Scott would rather be single and go home than, you know, chat back to you.
If it's cut off, I will pull Scott again, because
Scott's not going to have, babe.
Yeah, but
Scott's
listen.
not going to have it.
Okay.
I'm telling you, Scott's not going to have it. Like, do you know who Scott is? He's very much a principal man.
Yeah.
And he's going to look at it like, Mitch dubbed you, and now you're back to me.
I told you not to cut him off.
No.
I'd rather, like, be single and go home.
Yeah, okay, cool.
And I'm like, bro. And then Jess had to chime in, basically say, this is why I told you don't end it with Scott. Because Jess did say in yesterday's episode that, you know, if you end it with Scott, who are you going to chat to when Mitchell gets to know the girl, with Ella B? And obviously he was right. So she ended it with Scott to basically be with Mitchell, and now Mitchell has the ick. So she does not have Scott or Mitchell. So she's really going to be single in this villa. So it's going to be quite funny, because she's really trying to get with Mitchell, and then the more she's trying to get with Mitchell, she's getting the ick. At the end of her conversation, she was like, oh, don't I get a hug? And Mitchell didn't even want to hug her. So the fact, like, the way you're going about things is giving this guy the ick. And the fact that you're giving Mitchell the ick is quite funny, because usually Mitchell would usually like things like that, but is how you went about things. Like, if you really cared about Mitchell, you wouldn't have entertained Scott. But the fact that you entertained Scott and basically had a conversation about you getting to know Scott and stuff like that, that's basically where you basically lost. You lost. You shouldn't have done that if you really cared about Mitchell. That's where you lost big time. So, I don't know. Abby's about to go. I mean, I feel like this is Scott's time too, because I don't think anybody's going to come in for Scott. I feel like this is a time to go too. So I really need a clean sweep. I feel like Scott needs to go, just because I don't think anybody's going to come in for him. Abby needs to go. Amber needs to go. You know, those are the people right now clearly that needs to go. Even though Sammy is single, Jess is obviously going to go back with him. So those two need to go as well. But, and I guess Josh is going to have to go too. So with that being said, that was today's episode 35. End of the week. Can't wait to see Sunday's episode, to see, you know, After Sun and whatnot. But anyway, guys, if you like the video, comment down below and let me know your thoughts, comments, concerns, and you're not subscribed to my channel, subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. Peace.